All right, welcome to another deep dive where we take the source material you send in
Uh-huh.
and extract the key insights.
Absolutely.
Today, we're tackling a huge question, one that really sits at the heart of so much.
Yeah.
What truly makes a good leader?
Big question.
A big one, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at this through the lens of one particular book,
Okay.
The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell.
Ah, Maxwell. Yeah, I like his stuff.
Yeah, he's quite prolific.
He is. He's written a ton.
And we're not going to cover all 21 laws today.
No, we couldn't
But
possibly.
we are going to take some of, I think, what are some of the most important ones?
Yeah, some of the foundational ones, I think.
And give you some really practical things that you can take away.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes Maxwell so good.
Yeah,
Like, he moves beyond just saying, oh, be a good person or be charismatic.
right.
It's like, what are the actual principles? How do you actually apply them?
Yeah, and he calls them laws.
He does.
Because he sees them as consistently true.
Right. They're not just suggestions.
Yeah,
They're, if you want to be an effective leader,
right.
these are things that you really need to pay attention to.
They're the fundamentals.
The fundamentals, exactly.
Okay, so let's dive in.
All right.
The first one is the law of the lid.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of this one?
I have, yeah. It's a pretty vivid image, I think.
It is. It's like your leadership ability is a lid on a container.
Yes.
And so that lid dictates how high
Right.
the level of, the effectiveness of your leadership can go.
Exactly. It's like a ceiling, right?
Yeah,
So if your leadership ability is, let's say, a 7 out of 10,
right.
the overall effectiveness of what you're leading, the team, the organization,
Right.
is unlikely to go much higher than a 7.
Right.
It's limited by that.
Yeah. And one example that he gives is McDonald's.
Oh, interesting.
So the McDonald brothers, right, they had this really innovative concept.
Right. They revolutionized fast food.
Yeah, they had this, super efficient system,
Yeah.
great food, at least, for the time.
Yeah.
But they seemed to hit a ceiling.
Right.
Like their leadership was kind of capping the growth of the company.
Right. They were very good at what they did.
Yeah.
But maybe didn't have that vision
Right.
to really expand it.
And then along comes Ray Kroc.
Ah, Ray Kroc.
And suddenly it's a global phenomenon.
Exactly. He saw the potential.
Right.
He saw how to scale it, how to franchise it.
Right.
He had that business acumen that maybe the McDonald brothers lacked.
Yeah, it was like he came in and lifted the lid.
Boom. Yeah, took the lid right off.
And so the point here is that your own personal growth is so essential to your leadership.
Absolutely. You can't just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not improving,
Right.
then you're not going to be able to lead effectively.
And it's not just you. Right.
No, it affects everyone you lead.
Yeah.
If you're the leader and you've hit your limit, that's going to limit everyone below you.
So it has this ripple effect on the whole organization.
Yeah, it's a powerful image, that law of the lid.
It is. And it makes me think, too, about, some people might argue that the McDonald brothers, maybe they had a self-imposed lid.
Oh, interesting.
Like they were very focused on quality and maybe they didn't want to grow too big.
Yeah, maybe their vision was more about maintaining a certain standard.
Right. And maybe they weren't actually lacking in ability, but they were making a conscious choice.
Right, based on their values, their priorities.
Yeah. So it's not just about capability, but also what you want to achieve.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So moving on, the next law
Right.
is the law of influence.
Okay.
And Maxwell says, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less.
I like that. It's very succinct.
It is.
Gets to the heart of it.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think it's spot on.
Yeah.
It's not about your title. It's not about your authority. It's about whether you can actually influence people.
Yeah. Like if you're in a position of authority, but nobody's actually following you,
Right.
are you really leading?
You're managing, maybe,
Yeah.
but not leading.
And he uses a great example here.
Okay.
Mother Teresa.
Ah, yeah. Powerful example.
She had no traditional power.
No political office, no army.
Right. But she moved people.
She did.
And she influenced global opinion.
She had this incredible moral authority.
Right. And it was based
Her
on
actions, her beliefs.
her unwavering faith.
Yeah, and the impact she had on the world.
Yeah. So the question for all of us listening is,
Huh.
are people genuinely following you?
Right. Not just because they have to,
Right.
but because they want to.
Yeah. Are they inspired by you?
Or they bought into your vision.
And if not,
Then you might need to reassess.
yeah, maybe you're not leading as effectively as you could be.
Exactly.
All right. The next law is the law of process. leadership develops daily, not in a day.
I like that. That's encouraging, actually.
It is. It takes the pressure off.
Right. It's not like you have to be born a leader.
Yeah.
It's something you cultivate over time.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Journey, exactly.
And Maxwell talks about Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, interesting.
This guy who, we think of him as this...
Yeah, this larger-than-life figure.
Yeah, this really strong, robust individual.
Right.
But he started out as a weak and sickly child.
Really?
Yeah, and it was through sheer determination and consistent self-improvement that he transformed himself.
So he actively worked on himself.
Yeah, both physically and intellectually.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he just woke up one day.
Right.
And he was a great leader.
He had to put in the work.
Yeah, she had to cultivate it.
Consistently. Over time.
Right, so for all of us, this means patience.
Patience, absolutely.
And persistence.
Yeah, and recognizing that every experience, both good and bad,
Yeah.
can be a learning opportunity.
Yeah, so don't get discouraged.
No, keep going.
If it takes time.
Keep learning, keep growing.
That's okay.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is the law of navigation.
All right, navigation, that sounds interesting.
It is. So Maxwell says that anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course.
Ooh, I like that distinction.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah, so it's not just about managing the day-to-day.
Right?
It's about having a vision for the future.
Yeah, and knowing how to get there.
And anticipating challenges.
Right.
Like a good leader is thinking ahead.
Yeah, they're not just reacting to what's right in front of them.
Exactly. They're proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, and he uses the example of the Apollo 13 mission.
Oh, wow. That's a great example.
Yeah, so when things went wrong...
And they went very wrong.
Yeah, it was catastrophic.
Right.
It wasn't just about reacting to the immediate crisis. Leaders like Gene Kranz, they had to step back and look at the big picture.
Right. Assess the situation.
And figure out how to get the astronauts home.
With limited resources, under immense pressure.
Right. They had to come up with a whole new plan.
A new trajectory, essentially.
Yeah, they were navigating an incredibly complex and dangerous situation.
Yeah, it was amazing what they accomplished.
And that's what good leaders do.
They navigate through uncertainty.
They provide direction.
They have that vision, that foresight.
So it's not just about steering the ship.
Right.
It's about charting the course.
And knowing where you want to go.
Exactly.
That's a key takeaway.
Okay, next up is the law of addition.
Okay.
Leaders add value by serving others.
Interesting. That might seem a bit counterintuitive.
It does, right.
Yeah, we often think of leaders as being served.
Yeah, being at the top.
Right, being in charge.
But Maxwell is saying that true leaders...
They actually focus on serving others.
Yeah, they prioritize their team.
They support their development.
They help them to grow and thrive.
Exactly. It's not about personal gain.
Right.
It's about adding value to others.
And he gives the example of Herb Kelleher.
Okay, who's that?
He was the co-founder of Southwest Airlines.
Oh, right, Southwest.
Yeah, and he was famous for his employee-centric approach.
So he really valued his employees.
He did. He put them first.
Interesting.
And he created this really positive and supportive company culture. And that led to incredible customer loyalty.
And success for the company.
Yeah, it was a win-win.
So it's not about being selfish.
No.
It's about lifting others up.
Right. And in doing so...
You actually create a stronger organization.
Yeah, it's kind of paradoxical.
It is, but it works.
Okay, moving on to the law of solid ground.
Okay, solid ground, what's that about?
This one is all about trust.
Trust, yeah, that's essential.
Absolutely. Maxwell says trust is the foundation of leadership.
That makes sense. You can't lead without trust.
You can't. People have to believe in you.
They have to trust your judgment.
Your integrity.
Your competence.
Yeah, and he uses the example of the Enron scandal.
Oh, Enron, that was a mess.
It was. It was a complete collapse.
Yeah, and it was all because of a lack of trust.
Right. Leaders like Ken Lay, they had power and influence.
But they abused it.
They were dishonest. They were unethical.
And it destroyed the company.
Yeah, and it had a devastating impact on so many people.
It was a huge loss of trust.
A catastrophic loss of trust.
And it was irreversible.
Yeah, once that trust is gone.
It's almost impossible to get it back.
So the lesson here is...
Guard your integrity.
Yeah, your word is your bond.
Be honest. Be transparent.
Build a reputation for trustworthiness.
That's the foundation of everything.
Absolutely.
You can't lead without it.
Okay, the final law we're going to cover today is the law of empowerment.
Empowerment. Interesting.
Yeah, so Maxwell says, secure leaders give power away.
That's a tough one for some leaders.
It is, right.
Yeah, some people feel like they have to hold on to power.
Right, to control everything.
To stay in charge.
But Maxwell is saying that true leaders.
They're confident enough to delegate,
Yeah, to share responsibility.
to empower their team.
And he uses the example of Henry Ford.
Oh, Henry Ford, the car guy.
Yeah, so early on, Ford was very controlling.
He was a micromanager.
Big time.
Okay.
But as the company grew, he realized he couldn't do it all himself.
Right. He needed help.
He needed to build a strong team.
So he started empowering others.
Yeah, and it led to even greater success.
So by giving away power,
Right.
he actually increased his own effectiveness.
Exactly. It's counterintuitive, but it's true.
It's like multiplying your impact.
Yeah, because now you have other people
Who are also contributing.
who are also leading.
And they feel ownership.
Yeah, they're invested in the success of the organization.
So it creates a more powerful and dynamic team.
Absolutely.
That's a really important principle.
It is.
I think it's one that a lot of leaders struggle with,
Yeah, but it's essential for growth
both for the leader.
and for the organization.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
Okay, so just to recap,
All right.
what have we learned today?
A lot.
We've looked at 7 of Maxwell's 21 irrefutable laws of leadership.
7 key principles.
And we've seen that good leadership is about continuously developing yourself,
Raising your lid
influencing others,
through trust and connection.
having a vision for the future,
And knowing how to navigate towards it.
serving your team,
Adding value to others.
building trust,
That solid ground.
and empowering others.
Giving power away.
And all of this operates within the context of your current leadership potential.
Which can be
Through effort and intentionality.
So it's not like you're stuck.
No, you can always grow.
You can always improve.
You can become a better leader.
And when you look at historical figures like Abraham Lincoln,
Oh, yeah, Lincoln, great example.
you can see these laws in action.
He was humble. He was a learner.
He had a clear vision,
He built trust.
served his country.
And he empowered others. So these laws are not just theoretical.
They're practical.
They're real.
And they're essential for effective leadership.
So for you listening, here's a question to consider. Which of these laws resonates most strongly with you?
Right. Which one speaks to your experience?
Or maybe to your aspirations for leadership?
And maybe there's one you need to work on.
Yeah, and what's one small step you can take today
One concrete action
to strengthen that area?
to become a better leader.
Maybe it's reading more about leadership.
Or practicing delegating.
Or simply reflecting on your own values.
Yeah, any step in the right direction.
So take some time to think about it.
And start applying these laws.
And if you want to dive deeper into these ideas, I highly recommend checking out Maxwell's book.
The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
It's a great resource.
Full of wisdom and practical advice.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.